Hot Top Sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. More to bring in fire, cowboy, tie riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows running the show. It's Hot Top Sports, baby. Let's get it, let's go.
Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to High Top Sports. In today's episode, we recap everything that happened yesterday and some news that broke. Hugh Freeze was fired just moments ago, about 30, 40 minutes ago from Auburn. It looks like Florida likes to set the trends of firing coaches, and everyone follows suit. Logo continues to carry weight, but that's besides the point. We'll get into that later on today. We're going to recap this game. Cody, the prof, and I will discuss things we liked, things we didn't like. And, you know, ultimately yesterday, I think we had the call-in show where the fans call in and give their perspective. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like, look, there's no moral victories. It sucks. We hate losing, especially this one as Florida fans. But we've also, as Florida fans, understand of where we've been the last couple of years. And we are in the understanding of, you know, what it's felt like. Doesn't make it any easier to take losses, but there was a sense of, you know, like, hey, we felt like it was a fun game to watch. It had some moments and opportunities to get it done. You were there. And it was one of those games where, like, look, did we lose? Yeah, but it feel like we didn't necessarily beat ourselves. Maybe that's the big thing for the first time. We made errors. Let's not get it twisted. That's going to happen in football games. Georgia did it too. You just typically forget about the errors if you're able to pull out the W. We didn't have, I don't feel like, as much to critique. The big critique would be DJ Lagway, which we'll talk about separately, Cody and I, here in just a little bit, and kind of have our thoughts and opinions on that. But I think the guys came together and did a great job. Something I thought about as well. You know, we credit Billy for a lot of things. We credit Billy for a lot of things that make us upset. The big thing would be, I would say, the culture and the unit that was put on the football field. The coaches around, I feel like, you know, we've talked positively about some, negatively about a lot. Positively would be the Ron Roberts, the Jalukes, and that's about it. I would say Billy G falls into that category as well. But that's where I kind of I feel like for the first time, because when you remove the shield, if you will, which is Napier, if any blame were to fall on him, that was removed yesterday. And so now no one has a shield anymore, right, of what the issue may or may not be. And it's always been there, but we've just everything else was just so bad that the other things necessarily didn't surface up, right? Safety play has been very questionable all year. Obviously, we lose Will Harris. We move on to Vinny, who I think safety play has been hit or miss. It hasn't been fantastic. But yesterday, when everything else was going well, all of a sudden, these other holes that have been there all year really started to get exposed more and more as other things get cleaned up. So we're able to see these things be exposed. The other part of it, too, again, when you think about it offensively, I mean, the fact that we were in there with Billy G as the interim head coach, we've got Ryan O'Hara, who's never called a game in his life, at least at that level, anyways. Russ Callaway, who has some sort of association with it, only had, you know, experience at Sanford. That offensive coaching staff, it's just very young, very inexperienced, and again, a lot of things that we probably overlooked, or I mean myself, anyways. Of like, man, this is where I think Napier really dropped the ball. Really dropped the ball, not putting guys around him that, and we know that, right? Obviously, he's gone, so I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but that was something that I really noticed as of yesterday that, again, really got exposed, and they were able to get, and even with all those things being said, to go toe-to-toe with someone like Kirby Smart and be in it at the end there, thoroughly impressive. Also, too, the situation with the catch, I was getting throttled on the internet by a lot of people because they think that I wasn't a catch. And I slept on it. I watched some videos, and I took everyone's opinion into consideration. And I thought they actually made a good point of confirming that it is a catch. So thanks, guys, for letting me know that it was. Cody the Prof joins us here today. Big guy, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Just recovering.
What happened?
The 20 beers that you forced down my throat for Super Chat.
Whoa, you were an adult. I would never. I would never.
Yeah.
I would never.
It was hit or miss. I had to take a little nap today, but that's okay. That's what Sunday's for. So, you know, the catch thing sucks, but you got to hit a wide open man better than what DJ did.
Look, people have to understand. Just because I say it was a catch doesn't mean that I don't think that he should have thrown a better throw. That doesn't mean that I think that we would have scored on the next play. That doesn't mean that I don't think that it necessarily determined the entire outcome of the game because we don't know. I can still believe it was a catch. It's not like I'm pouting that like, oh, we would have won if he would have caught that. No. The call on the field was incorrect, and I stand by that. That's all that I'm going with. That's all. That's my only take. I'm not trying to sell the fact of that. Yeah, there are 100 other situations. Like, why are we in this predicament? We can go day in and day out about it. It still was a catch, and I'm going to the grave. Going to the grave. It was a catch. Cody, catch.
Is that better? Is that better?
Are we echoing? Yeah, we are. Okay.
Yeah.
See how easy that is, Cody? When it's my fault, I acknowledge it.
Yeah. Is it better?
Yeah, it was my fault. I fixed it.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, I think I said it last night. When you play a team like Kirby Smart and Georgia at that caliber, like every little thing gets emphasized. Obviously, the hit or miss on the safety. It's still echoing. God damn it.
No, it's good. It's the comments delayed.
Better?
You're good.
Okay. So it's just one of those things where everything gets put under a microscope when it comes to playing, a team like Georgia, and they're gonna adjust and show you your flaws. And I think they did a excellent job at doing that. That's why they are the number 5 team in the country, and that's why they're always in there for a playoff run and always bid for a national championship, is because they have that coaching, they have that stability, and recruiting wise, they do extremely well there. It's just it kind of hurts because when the guy that you had committed for a little bit flips to Georgia and then beats you with the touchdown to kind of rip your heart out. It's kind of tough. So
they were trying to
where,
hype that thing up of like, wow, what a monument. The guy had 12 carries for 45 yards.
Yeah.
He averaged 3.5 a clip. Like, I mean, like, cool. He had one big play. Like, it wasn't like he dominated his whole football game. Jaden Ball wiped their asses with him. So I'm not too concerned about that. But yeah, look, cool little storyline. If you want to run with it, good for you. I could care less. It wasn't, if he would have run for like 150, like, damn, right? Like that, when I watch Harold Perkins, that's how I feel. I go, damn. I did not one point to go, damn, I wish we had Chauncey Bowens because he busted off for a touchdown late in the game. No, not at all. I didn't even know who he was the entire game. I heard Nate Frazier's name all game. Chauncey Bowens was irrelevant, so let's not get it twisted. Let's put the facts where it's at. Great touchdown for him, not taking anything away. But to think that we missed out on Chauncey Bowens, Jaden Ball's been an absolute rocket star. Nobody's talked about Chauncey Bowens since he went to Georgia. All you've heard is Jaden Ball. So we didn't lose. Not worried about it.
The amount of injuries is also kind of concerning. Like, it's almost laughable. Georgia had one guy out, and we had, 25 guys out, and then, 5 guys questionable. Like, that continues to be an issue. I don't know if it's strength and conditioning. I don't know if it's a bad luck.
Those things are kind of, I would say, irrelevant to the conversation.
They got to figure that out.
It's over.
That's not irrelevant.
That was a Napier issue. So we can't, like, that part is what we're seeing now is a product of what happened 7 months ago. So we can be frustrated about it, but there's no way Tyler Miles and the same staff is going to be here next year. So my point of, like, if we hadn't fired Billy, then yeah, we could talk about it as like it's a prominent point, but it's irrelevant. Like it sucks, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't change the like it's no one's on staff's faults currently outside of, if you want to blame strength and conditioning, you can blame Tyler, but it's the problem has been fixed essentially. We're just still suffering the repercussions from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
No, you disagree?
No, I don't know if you wanna look at it by that aspect, then there's nothing to talk about this game. It's all been fixed because we fired our coach.
Yeah, well, I mean that's true too. Well, I think that's why I think there's a lot of positive that came from it because, look, even with the firing of the coaches, I think that we were right with what was going to change from the offense perspective. Right, like I didn't feel it wasn't predictable at all, which was
no.
And again, I think it makes it more irritating because right with how we've seen this thing kind of open up a little bit, and that's where we're going to transition in just a little bit to the DJ thing, because I know you were heavy on a point which I liked, but I'm going to get to there in just a minute. Something that somebody said yesterday, and I felt the same way, but when you look at the data, it kind of speaks another language where it's like Florida dominated. Like somebody said, hey, Florida, it felt like we controlled the game, and it did. And we controlled the game in the second half. That would be for sure. I think the first half we were it was a nice little tug of war battle. But wait, when I pulled up the stats, they owned time of possession. They owned third down conversion rate. They owned first downs. They owned total plays. So they kind of, control the game more so than we did.
They lost the turnover battle, which again we didn't execute with a touchdown there, which is kind of frustrating. But
to think about that again, if you win the turnover battle, we win the football game, or at least it's tied.
We did, but we didn't execute.
Well, when I say win the turnover battle, like you capitalize on the turnover. That's kind of what I was alluding to.
So if it equals 7, yeah, we win.
We didn't really win it. It was kind of muted. We got 7 points out of it, but that's been this whole regime's deal. You get something big happen and then it sputters out. This is like when I open up the fortune cookie for the University of Florida football under Billy Napier in this regime, it's the almost. Like it feels like, like you're almost there, just keep working. Like you're almost there. You're gonna beat the elite teams. Just keep working. It's like, dude, we've been almost for the last 4 years. And that's something that's true too, is that even though there were some changes and it felt a little bit different, the thumbprint of Napier's aura is still there. Like, and you're not gonna wash it off in a week, or in 2 weeks. No, a week. Hell, a week. But what's crazy though is it felt like they got some stains off, right? Even in a week. Again, offensively, there wasn't too many predictable things. Were there times where it felt Billy-esque? It's still there, right? Like you're going to have it because we don't have these like creative 3rd and 1 plays, or just like we don't have it in the back. I always like, hey, where is it? We just don't have it. And again, that 4th and 1 call, they asked Billy Gonzalez like, hey, what is your thoughts on it? And I agree with him. It was the right call, even now, even after the fact, because they marched down the field and scored. It was, and they didn't get better field position because of it. Probably went maybe 5 yards or so. The way they marched down the football field, it wouldn't have mattered where they got the ball. All right, and we would still have been down, and we never saw the other side of the 50. Now, obviously, you're like, well, if you had 3 more points, sure, you can play into all of that. But if we want to just look at it from a scoring perspective, the field goal only would have just made us feel better, right? I guess if we were 1 point away. So I loved it in the moment. I was all in on it. I was, because that was the game. We were screaming it. Like you win the football game. You're able to knock off, however much time. Now you've got to hold Georgia to a touchdown with maybe, let's say, a minute and a half to go. And they hadn't really marched down the football field. And also to your defense, like so many other variables come into play if you get that first down. And look, and this is where we can transition into the DJ thing. That's not on DJ, right? That's on the O-line. That's on just, maybe you just call it the play calling. That's on a multitude of different things that a lot of these things were still not perfect. When you've got going into your 4th year with the O-line experience that you have, with how old the O-line is, and for it not to be performing to the expectation of what the age entails. Like when you've got a line that has 3 seniors on it, a junior and a soft, and then a redshirt junior as your tackle. I mean, damn. I mean, people would kill for that, right? And it hasn't really performed. So the DJ thing was an interesting conversation that you and I spoke about yesterday. Like you're kind of on the fence, or not on the fence, but you're ready to see something else. True?
I after looking back at it this morning, the sober take, I am unequivocally opening that quarterback room up for a quarterback battle before the next game.
So you're still the same.
You continue to do the same stuff that gets you in trouble. You're being uncoachable. You're at this point. I don't know if they have a clause in the contract that they can't bench them. I don't know, but whatever. Like it's so visible that you are not coachable. and then you go after the game and you're chopping it up with the rival team, taking selfies with coaches and shit. Like, bro, you can go. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done on DJ Lagway. I'm done on Billy Napier. They can go as a package deal. He can go in the portal. I don't care, dude. You can't. You have zero pocket poise. You refuse to work on your footwork. You almost fumbled the ball because your footwork is so terrible. And you can't tell me that that's being coached because it's not shown up on any of the other quarterbacks. We saw it during the spring game. All the other quarterbacks look good. There's only one quarterback that's regressed and not made a single developmental part of his game better, and that's DJ Lagway. I don't care that he bought the stupid shit from quarterbacks where he can watch film at his house. I don't care anymore. I just want to win. I'm so tired of being freaking close. And for them not to let Trammell just give it a spin, what are we doing? This coaching staff's all getting fired anyway. Who cares?
So I love the fiery take, and I think you're gonna be
chopping it up with Georgia players.
I didn't see.
What
that,
are we
so
doing?
I can't speak to that.
The selfies with the coaches laughing after the game. Where's your competitive edge? Where's your fire, DJ? You think Pavia's doing that? What are we doing? Go to Georgia. Go to Georgia. I don't care, DJ. Go. You ain't gonna play, but you're gonna get stuck behind Gunnar Stockton. You're worse than that kid. Bye.
Can I go?
Go ahead.
All right. So I think you're a little bit of there's reasonable takes. Him taking photos after the game. I feel like that's more of a commonality now. I'm not too concerned about that. I kind of like I'm 50-50 on it. Played a good hard fought game. If there's guys you respect on that side of the football field, I think that's a little bit of a emotional take. Look, I think that there's a little bit of truth to all of this, and I think there is a happy medium with it. There's the college football has changed, and look, I think 3 or 4 years ago, I don't think you move on from DJ this quickly, because I will say we as Florida fans have a knack for wanting to bench people too quickly. We've always done it. It's always like the next guy's going to be better. The next guy's going to be shinier. You said, I don't know what's happened to Lenore Sellers. You haven't once clamored for Lenore Sellers to be benched, and he's played equivalently the same. Let me go. You haven't called for it. You haven't called for it. You haven't. And he hasn't showed anything spectacular either, or played any better than DJ Lagway has, if you will. And I think a big factor to this is that both these guys look really good last year. And both these guys now have film out on them, and people are able to adjust, and these guys are refusing or have the inability to adjust. I don't know what the answer is. I don't have it. It could be coaching. It could be lack of not listening. There's a multitude of things that you could throw in there. I also know that this kid has walked into one hell of a situation. And look, he gets paid to do it, Sheldon. I hear you, dude. But I'm also a human being, and I can also, you have to have a sense of understanding of the situation. And I'm not saying that, hey, you don't try something new. That's not what I'm saying either. There's a little bit of in the middle of this, because you've gone down this path. You're taking over a hostile situation, trying to essentially fight for someone's job last year. Then you go through this injury thing of this entire offseason, which now, again, this is why I blame on coaching, because if he's not ready, you should be able to see that and not put him into a position. And that is a massive question mark of hey, you should be able to see that he's not figuring this thing out. He hasn't had enough time. We need to slowly work him back into the system. And that isn't on DJ, in my opinion. DJ strong arm. That's not on DJ. He's a player. He's going to ask to play. As for Trammell, again, would he come in and maybe light it up? Probably would, because it's that ignorance is bliss thing that nobody has any film on it, and he would be able to take advantage of it and feel comfortable for a little bit. But would that last? And then would he get his ego damaged? We don't know. Because the same thing that you're doing right now, we did it for DJ last year, and this was something you even clamored for. Is you don't want to ruin his confidence and do all these things, and now we're trying to do it to Trammell. The other part that I think has changed, that makes this a unique situation, and I thought about it last night. I go, man, if this was the pros, would you bench DJ at this point? Is he playing like Russell Wilson was playing at the Giants, and they're we got to just go, we got to go to the next option because it hasn't looked well? Well, Hal commented on somebody's, I can't remember whose it was now. I think it might have been Stephen Harris's post because Stephen was in support of. And again, I love everyone's take. Like everyone gets all emotional. It's like, dude, we can all be different here, and not attack each other's throats. But this part was what I found very interesting. Is he's eating up 10% of the team's NIL, can't pay Tom Brady size money and not get the result. And that was where, for me, was a big thing of like, okay, like this is where it changes. Like if you're gonna get paid like the guy, you gotta perform like the guy. And that's a big one. Now, at the same breath, it's like, well, we're paying him. We got to figure this thing out somehow. And I think that's probably where maybe part of it boils down to. But that to me is a big thing. A big thing. And again, I don't know what the right answer is. I truly, genuinely don't. I think that I'm not opposed to seeing what Trammell can do. Just this ideology of like, he needs to be benched. He has progressed this year, which has been great. The things that I agree with you on is his pocket presence has not improved whatsoever. And even the throw to Sturdivant, like Stephen Harris was breaking it down. I saw him clip it up where like the jump throw, nobody was like, there was no need for you rolled out, plant your feet and send it. I don't know. That's that baseball in him. Go ahead.
It's not baseball. You know, I like you bring up the Lenore Sellers thing. We've seen what's behind Lenore Sellers. It's not good. He is their only way that they can win.
They have Air Nolan.
Huh?
He has Air Nolan.
Air Nolan hasn't when Lenore Sellers has been out, Air Nolan hasn't sniffed it. So obviously he's not up to speed.
Well, okay, but we've seen Trammell in a scrimmage game. You've seen like the fact that we're putting so much stock into Trammell into 2 quarters of football is wild to me.
I don't care who it is. Open it up.
No. Well, so that's my other thing is like if we're calling for Trammell and that's the best option because so here's the crazy part. Let's play this out. Why are we calling for Trammell? Because we saw him at LAU. He won the second starting position. Well, who said he was the second best quarterback on the team? Billy Napier.
Quarterback coach.
Okay, so do we trust the quarterback coach who essentially has probably ruined DJ Lagway to put in the best quarterback that's available? We got a 5th-year guy in Harrison Bailey who we've seen slinging an actual game. And I'm not saying that these guys aren't better than Trammell. I'm not trying to. But my thing is like we all think we have the answers.
Care who it is.
Well, that's if you're just like, hey, like you're just frustrated. I hear you. Again, I'm not. That's just that kind of the fanatic
it's
in all of us.
It's not getting any better. It's getting worse. He's getting worse.
He's worse from last year. He's getting better since the very first game, though.
How does that even
You
happen?
can't say that. You can't say that. How does he get worse?
How is he like
from USF until now? He's much better.
This needs to be like gone through with a fine-tooth comb. Like it's absolutely incredible. Like what they have done to DJ Lagway. The regression.
I mean, how much of it is, again, I'm not making excuses, but you have to ask the question is how much is the injury playing a factor? How much of that we don't know?
What injury? What injury?
The injury that kept him out all offseason. Whatever it was.
Though?
I don't know. That's what I'm talking to you.
Is it a hernia? Is it a calf?
I don't know.
Is it an ankle?
I don't know.
Is it a pinky toe? Like what is it? Like it's
Are you saying that it's not an injury?
It's always smoke and mirrors. I don't know what it is. They have 25 different injuries for the cat.
Look, I think that there is
got a shoulder injury.
So what happens if Trammell? What happens if Trammell comes in and he sucks? Then what? What if Trammell comes in and looks exactly the same? Then you go to the next guy?
At this point, what's it matter? You're not winning any games.
Well, okay, that's the point. Is that we as fans just think the next thing is going to be the answer, and sometimes that everyone is going to have their growing pains and their issues. And here's my other again. I'm not like in pro, I don't have a dog in the fight. Like
is he injured or not?
I want to win just as bad as you do. I just think that these are healthy conversations to have because there is that just true fanatical side of us that just goes screw it next guy, and I hear you and I believe you, but you at the same time look, the play call was great. There were some wide open throws that were missed, and I'm like, yo, what are we doing? But I mean, you'd be hard fetched right now.
Is he allowed to get away with that during practice? That's
who knows how he looks in practice. And again, and this is where I go back to, because what if Trammell is just whooping his ass in practice? Then it's not on DJ anymore.
Obviously, this coaching staff is very sus because
Then
Trey
there's
Wilson's
bigger
been
problems.
looking like that, looking like what he looked yesterday all year long in practice. And Trey Wilson.
How do you know how he looked in practice? How does anybody know how they've looked in practice?
Because that's what they said. He's been doing that all year in practice.
Who's they?
Billy G.
Okay. They also told me that this was going to be the best offensive line we've ever had. So I don't know what to believe anymore, to be quite honest with you.
Me neither.
He wasn't even seeing the football field for half the year. Eugene was.
I know. Well, when you start, getting them out of running a million miles side to side and bubble screens and actually getting them down the field vertically, like the kid's pretty good. His best game since his freshman year.
They're saying I'm stubborn. I'm not saying. I'm simply.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we trying to win games?
I agree. I think we should just burn everybody.
Games, or are we not trying to win games?
No, you're trying to win games.
What is this staff trying to do?
I don't know what
are
the
we
staff's
trying to win games? We're trying to win games, correct? So with winning games, you need to scheme it up for your best 11 to get on the field. I need to know if DJ Lagway is part of that best 11 or not.
Hang on.
I don't care about names. I don't care about how much they pay him.
Did the check clear? All right, cool. All right, I can stop defending Billy or DJ now. We're good. The check went through. Yeah, I agree. I think we should bench him. No, we're good.
I just need to know. I just want the best 11. Like, if you're gonna roll this thing out and people are gonna pay money to go, it's not cheap for a family of 4 to go to the Swamp and watch, or Jacksonville. Put the best 11 out on the field. I don't care who it is. I don't care names anymore. That goes to the O-line. That goes to the defense. Put your healthiest best 11 on the field. That's it. That's all I want. If you still don't win at the end of the day, cool.
What if
the DJ's the best?
What if DJ's better than Trammell? And they have their answer.
Then we have a serious problem at the University.
That's what I'm trying to allude to, is that there's probably bigger issues here than we can truly see. I'm not saying that Trammell is
okay. You've watched a lot of football. You've seen these no-name cats come into college football and go for Heisman races and absolutely light it up. Do you believe that DJ Lagway is the best quarterback in that quarterback room right now to give you a chance to win? With what you just saw.
I think what your guys are misunderstanding is I'm not dying on this throne of that DJ is the answer. Those words never came out of my mouth. I actually was in support of, I actually gave a pretty healthy argument and then backed it with this tweet here of like, hey, I can see where the argument plays a factor. Now, I see the chat. There's so many levels to this, because like, oh, the old ball coach would have benched him. This isn't 1995. Okay? The same people that are saying the old ball coach would have benched him. If I go, hey, what if Billy G becomes the next head coach? Like Dabo did at Clemson. Well, it's not 2006, Sheldon. Okay? So the same logic applies. We're not just burning through cats anymore like that. All right? Like that's not the world you live in. You can agree to disagree, what have you. Go all in. It does, like we'll have to just part the seas here and find a middle ground. Like, we're not gonna. It's like the catch thing. Like, you guys see it one way, I see it one way. Like, it is what it is.
I could care less about the catch.
No, you're listening like the chat does. I was using as an example, as an analogy to what I'm saying. That's how the chat listens. Was listen, we know that nobody even hears what I'm saying, because you're just picking shit. Like, no, I don't even care. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. Look, put Trammell in. I don't give a damn. It's not my call. I mean, I agree. At what point do you just go, hey, send it?
I just want the best 11 on the field. That's all I want.
Why do we think DJ is not having a good year though?
Have you watched the games?
Why do you think he hasn't had a good year? Because of mechanics, things like that, right? So is that on him, or is that on coaching?
Wide receiver, locking down on one receiver. I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think it's not being coachable. There's no QB coach and from JUCO up, that teaches what he's doing. The jumping in the air, the constantly rolling out of the pocket when he has a clean pocket, like the locking onto the receiver no matter what, throwing into double coverage.
Why do we have a bench? I agree. Look, there is a point that in the same tone where I'm like, hey, Spurrier would have done this. Well, we also can point to, well, we as Florida fans have called for the next quarterback since Brantley. And we've got it right once. Can we agree on that? Every quarterback we've had for the last decade, we've been calling for the next guy. When it doesn't go right, we want the next guy immediately. And every time we've gotten the next guy outside of Kyle Trask, it's been ass.
Trask was good.
What's that?
Well, that's developing quarterbacks. It's hard. It's not easy. Listen, if everybody could develop quarterbacks, like nobody would get fired, because that's 90% of the game. Hugh Freeze just lost his job at Auburn due to non-development.
Much different situation there. He didn't recruit one.
He also didn't develop one either.
Well, he never had one to develop. Look at who he had. He went out and got Peyton Thorne. He went and got a portal guy, had him for 2 years.
Listen,
and then went and got Jackson Arnold. So he just refused to do it. It's not the same situation at all.
In the modern day college football, it doesn't take 5 stars next to your name to make you great at the quarterback position.
No, I think it takes 4 to 5 years for you to be good.
I think that people keep getting hung up on the star thing. Pretty much every 5-star quarterback that we've seen has been a bust. Name a good one right now.
That's the problem. Because the 5-star, what comes with the 5-star is just the expectations are asinine. They're expected to be, and it's a combination of everyone's fault. Like, I'm not discrediting that, but the expectation is for them to literally walk in and be Tim Tebow or Johnny Manziel. That's what the expectation is. You can't tell me otherwise. So if they're not that, we immediately go, this guy is this. The Toy Story meme. I don't want to play with you anymore. So when you go to look at the quarterbacks that are good right now, they're all a bunch of no names. Yeah, that have worked through the process, that have sat on their asses for 3 to 4 years and did get thrown to the wolves and learned how to play the game. And there is a part where there's probably some issues with how they're rating these guys, because all these guys are doing is they're playing backyard ball in high school. They're playing up against kids that are nowhere near as athletic as them, and they're able to look like absolute rock stars. So then they win Gatorade Player of, and again, this isn't me making excuses, and I know that's how it's going to be appeared. All I'm saying is, like, understand what you're looking at and understand what's the situation at hand, and that's all that I am trying to allude to, is that, like, the answer isn't always just benching. But I totally understand where us as fans are like, we've seen enough from DJ's performance where it's like, I feel like you bring anybody in, we almost wish you had a Mertz, where it's like, just don't make any mistakes, dude. Like, Mertz hits those throws. Like, what DJ, and here's a crazy thing. I never felt like DJ was needed to come in and be a superhero. I've always been a component of that. Like, everyone thought that DJ was going to come and throw for 3,000 yards and all these things. I was like, DJ doesn't need to do that. DJ just needs to just come in, control the game, and then just toss the ball and hit those throws, and then allow for this offense to work the way that it's supposed to work. But that hasn't happened either, which is a problem. Which I do agree with. I do agree with. Look, yesterday was probably
in modern day college football. We also give these quarterbacks a lot of leash, that they're allowed to call their own number. We play a lot of RPO, so they're allowed to pull it when they get the read that they think that they're reading. But it's more glaring because they have more freestyle capability. They can check in and out of plays. I don't know, man. I'm just tired of losing. And listen, I'm a fan. I know that some of you guys may not agree with me. I'm so tired of being close.
Look,
it almost would feel better if we just got blown out. Like, I'm just so tired of just being so close to winning and not getting it done. It's always, and it makes everything worse. Winning cures everything. We know that. But, you name me a head coach that got fired that had a great quarterback. Luke Fickell's about to get fired from Wisconsin. He was supposed to be a quarterback guru. That he hasn't had a quarterback at all, right? All the hot names have figured the quarterback thing out on the on coaching list, minus probably Brent Key, because he's kind of riding off of one quarterback. We don't know what they're going to do after King.
Wait.
So
Say that the coaches that are not on the hot seat have figured the quarterback thing out?
I'm saying on the hot list, people that we want to hire have figured out how to develop quarterbacks. Lane Kiffin has figured out how to develop quarterbacks.
Oh, that's one guy. I mean, yeah.
Obviously, Drinkowitz has figured out how to develop quarterbacks to some extent. Anybody else? Louisville, they seem to figure out their quarterback. Like, you have to find a guy that can figure out quarterbacks. All the great teams in the NFL have quarterback gurus, have figured it out. That's the name of the game. Finding, developing quarterbacks. That's the first thing you do. You got to have a guy that can find quarterbacks and develop them, especially in college football when these guys are moving in and out through the portal.
I think
everywhere.
Ohio State's done a pretty damn good job of developing quarterbacks.
Ohio
Or
State,
at least getting the right guy in there.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't say Georgia has. They're winning football games.
No, Georgia.
Yeah,
Gunnar
Stockton's
Stockton's the
trash.
best young quarterback that they've.
I mean,
they've
Beck
had.
can sling it, but obviously he has his issues. Look, I don't.
Beck just lost. Beck just
I
lost
think the
him a game
conversation
yesterday.
it's a little dwelling. I mean, I think for me, I and again, people think like I love DJ. Like what the hell does it matter? Like I have zero skin in this. My stance on this is like there is a healthy. Like I'm not a believer. I've always been like, yeah, let's just burn it. I've always said there's an epidemic with the quarterback situation as a whole. There's a genuine issue as a whole with how this group is managed. Like think about your top quarterbacks over the last 3 years: Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, DJ Lagway, Aaron Nolan. We haven't heard about much. Bryce Underwood. Will be interesting to see how he does. Headed into next year. He gets to hang out in Michigan, and he's been mid for a 5-star guy, but he's not under the spotlight every single game like these other 5-stars are. So he gets to have these bad games and get away with it. That's a factor too. Let's mind you, Dante Moore, who's been okay, he's been good this year, hasn't been fantastic. Who's in a third year? In his third year as a 5-star guy playing out there in Oregon in a phenomenal offense and a phenomenal system, hasn't lived up to what a 5-star in his third year should be doing. He's not. But they're winning football games, so nobody's saying anything.
But that's because the offensive coordinator protects his quarterback.
Okay, so that's my point. Is like there's so many issues. Marshall Reed's not that good, but the team is damn near good. It's surrounded. Like, there's so many areas to pick this thing up. Like this thing was more reliant on DJ performing than it needed to be. Which that's more so what I'm alluding to. This team should not. This team was built. How I viewed the team to where you shouldn't be live or die by your sophomore quarterback.
But it was.
It shouldn't have. That's what it has become. It wasn't.
Yes.
When we spoke about it all offseason, no. You're going to run the ball. You're going to play good defense. And DJ's going to be able to go and kind of be himself and make some moments happen. I was never in the firm believer that, hey, he's going to throw for 3,500 yards. I thought he would have a good year. Not what he's having. He's way off the mark of where we thought he would be. But in the same breath, like, look, I'm still not opposed. I think there's a big component of like, look, the guy is being paid as if he won a Super Bowl ring. Like if you're getting 10% of the NIL budget for one player, bro, you better lock it the F in. And that part I do agree with.
If it's wild how this thing has turned. And like you look at all the teams that are consistent. It's hard to be consistent in modern college football, I think, because the level of parity is just through the roof. But it's guys that have figured out how to develop quarterbacks or find great talent in the portal. Like look at what Lane Kiffin's doing with a Division II quarterback. Like, bro, he's killing it. He had his worst game ever statistically yesterday, and they still beat him by 2 touchdowns.
And I would argue if we would have started at Chambliss, over DJ Lagway, you did what you're doing right now would be the exact same thing. Shameless had a bad game against Washington State, and then they lose to Georgia. It was you're calling for his head. You are. You're calling for his head, knowing you have. Yes, you are. Knowing you have Austin Simmons on the bench, who was once a 4-star guy because the only reason Austin went down because of an injury. So that's my point is that like we just like we're always looking for like a reason.
So, well, who's the head coach though?
What's that meant to do with anything?
That has everything to do with it. Everything.
No.
Like, what's the record? What's the head coach? What's it look like? I'm not. Listen.
No. So here's where you're wrong. Here's
no. You're not gonna hold on. You're not gonna put me in that box. No, because if it looks a certain way, you can. I'm not unrealistic. You're gonna lose games. I'm not saying that a quarterback has one bad game. Yeah, you gotta throw him to the wall. Like nope, he's gone. I'm not saying that works. I'm just saying, like, is it Lane Kiffin's here at the University of Florida next year? And, you're like, what's it look like? You can't just say, oh, if we had Chambliss with this coaching staff, that cat ain't probably doing what he's doing here at Ole Miss.
My point is
it's a
reason. It's a reasonable.
It's not at all.
Because you'd be looking at a situation as I've got a guy from the G5 coming in, and he looked rough. Even Lane was like, yeah, he looks like he's playing at G5 again. Our expectations at Ole Miss would be to win. So our whole world has changed. Our expectations would have changed. And so if this person that is once a G5 guy that has a negative tarnish, he doesn't have the beautiful 5 stars like Austin, yeah, we're probably calling for some heads. We'll agree to disagree. It's a hell of a scenario, but that's kind of what it's a dangerous road to go down. Look, start somebody new. I don't see it happening. But again, I think the house point from the financial situation of like
starts. I just want the best 11. I don't care who starts.
I think that's the bottom line is that all these arguments stem from. We all want the same thing. I think where I always try to point to is like, I'm not coming from an angle of like, this is the right way of sticking to DJ. I am in the belief of like, hey, we probably should pump the brakes a bit and actually look at this thing as a whole and just make sure we have all the correct information before we just start emotionally reacting. Like you were popping off of like he shook hands with the opposing team. F that guy. Like, hold on. That's not what we want either.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said I didn't like him chopping it up and taking selfies with coaches, with Georgia coaches.
What is it? So if an adult comes up, hey man, can I take a photo? You're like, no, F off, bro. You play for the other team. You want that as your player?
You just lost a heartbreaking.
Just walk. Hey, just walk off. Don't shake hands. Then he's a sore loser. There's no right answer there.
I mean,
there's no right answer. I disagree with you. Go shake hands.
Laughing and joking.
The game's over. Shake hands. Be pissed about it later. But you're gonna take it out on the guy that just like, hey man, great game. I enjoyed playing with you. I disagree with you.
I mean, it doesn't look good.
And if he walked off,
pull it up.
And if he walked off and didn't shake anyone's hand, it wouldn't look good either.
I don't care if he doesn't shake anybody's hand. Who gives a shit?
I do. That would look worse to me.
Go shake your hands.
That's immature.
Dap it up for 30 minutes, laugh and joke. That's
immature.
Everything.
That's immature. That's worse.
That's immature. No,
that's worse.
I don't care what. I don't care.
Okay, that's fine.
Pull it up. Pull the video up.
Where? I don't care about the video.
On Twitter.
$5 from Marine Rebel. With Hugh Freeze being fired, I guess Lane Kiffin to Auburn. Am I doing it right? Yeah, I'm sure the noise will start here very quickly since the LSU job seems to be in shambles. James King, $5. I felt kind of good about it. Yes, I always want to win, but we had bad Georgia, big bad Georgia sweating and biting the nails. Yeah, I mean, look, that was, people are like, oh, no moral victories here, but it felt nice. All aboard. Choo-choo from Nick. What's up, Nick? Good to see you, man. Napier to FSU. I think Norvell saved his job with the ass whipping he handled last night. Anthony, no sacks. O-line was okay enough to win. DJ has been cheeks all year. I'm tired of hearing excuses for him. $5 from Anthony. Look, Anthony, and there's a few others that feel the same way. I don't disagree with your guys' takes. I genuinely feel like we're all on the same page here. I think it's just healthy to have a good dialogue. Those Georgia players were from Texas. Their towns are very close to each other. They know each other, and they are friends. That kind of worked out. That was earlier on, but Cody doesn't care. Cody wants him to shoot him in the foot next time he sees him. Daniel Riviera, $2. Florida fans need therapy for another year. Yeah, I feel that. $5 from my man Anthony. We go year by year. Last year, Mertz wasn't good. This year, Lagway isn't good. If he's hurt, why do we keep playing him? Again, I agree. I agree too. I'm not.
How many games has DJ Lagway cost us
this year?
Yes. LSU for sure.
I can't put LSU on him.
5 INTs?
Oh, you're right.
Oh my God.
You're right. I forgot. Yes. LSU for sure. And I can't remember. I don't think he was great at USF, but Miami, no. A&M, no. I don't put yesterday on him. 100%. 100%.
So 3 games.
3 games, yeah.
Tough what this team would look like with 3 wins, 3 extra wins there.
And last year we were what when he started, and we were talking about him. So he was 6-0, so he's dropped. So now he's 8-3, and we want to can him. If you look at it like that, I mean that it plays in his favor. So if we're gonna the 3 games, yes, were bad, but there's also 8 games that you're discrediting. 9 games. Like those don't mean anything at all. He was great at Texas. F that game. I mean, that's a weak argument. I'm not saying that's my point. Is like it hasn't been that egregious, personally.
The 5 INTs
I can't remember the South Florida game. Sorry,
the 5 INTs and not getting benched was egregious.
100%. When I was in the same boat as you were. Like that was hey, you need to reset hard, Bubba. No question. Yeah. $5. We don't know if the next guy is going to be the answer, but at least we want to see if that's the case. TJ's eye test looked better versus the same competition. But this is where I push back of like, because the fans want something, we also just go like, hey, the fans want to see something new. At some point, like we have to and I hear you as a fan, it's like we just want to know if our and look, here's the thing where the fans have it right. All right, here's where I don't have a pot to piss in, because the fans have been clamoring like we just want to see something different. Can we fire Billy? And then we first can we fire Billy? It looks different. So sometimes the fans know what's up, and that that's part of it. $5. We've seen enough from Billy. Likewise with DJ, we've seen enough. He's not changing his mechanics this year. It's time for something else. Again, I think that we've seen a few changes, but do a call-in maybe tonight, not right now. It would be. Cody needs another nap.
Like I just like players leaving no longer bother me. Like last year, it bothered me a little bit. Like firing coaches and players leaving. I've seen what college football is now and how teams can be ready to go. And maybe that's what's so frustrating, but you ain't going to hold me hostage. What happens if DJ leaves? Who cares, bro? Who cares?
Well, players leaving, I accept that. Like, again, when people are like, hey, what do you want to say? Like, what I want doesn't matter. I want a new coach that's going to come in and win football games. And
it felt like that's kind of why we kept Billy Napier last year.
For sure. And I think that we were in a different boat last year. Like we were definitely, I would say, cling to the situation and in love with the situation and the players and not wanting those things to change. So we it's like a toxic relationship where it's like all of these things are really good. So we're willing to put up with this toxic part because we really like these parts. We're at a point now where it's like, I don't even want the good stuff that came with it anymore because the toxicity is still here. It's lingering. And so that's just the name of the game. And look, is there a sense of me, and I said this before, of like, do I respect Lagway because we've had him on the show and have a sense of like appreciation for who he is because we have met him? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's that natural bias there in me that cares about this young man as the same for when Jack Pyburn left. I'm like, yeah, that's this. Like that was where I think I have gotten soft as a fan. Like I could openly admit that. I'm not embarrassed to say that. Like I know that cold, like genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Like that's what's probably got me a little soft, but I'm also transparent with that. Like I don't mind talking about it. And that's where I try to approach it from because in the same breath, I think that some of us don't have it. And then, so we don't have a human maybe approach to it. So there's a healthy medium, and that's what I try to find. I don't always get there. And I think that's why this is great. Like, I love that you're so far on it that we can probably find a middle ground. The thing that really set the tone for me was the tweet from Howe, where I think the NIL financial situation puts a big a factor into it. It's like we're paying this guy to perform a certain way, and you're not living up to it. And look, we talk about it all the time. Like these guys are employees now. If you when you were a college kid, I can give more excuses. You could argue that you couldn't, but I personally could. Here's where an easy argument for you could have won this 20 minutes ago. If we performed at our jobs like Lagway has over the last 6 weeks, we would have either been demoted or responsibilities would have been taken away because we are now starting to become a liability to the company. And that is the part that I do agree with, is that from that perspective. And you could argue that for, again, if they weren't being paid, you could. I, again, from thinking that mindset of what college football was and what it is, there's still a little bit of that is in me. But yeah, I think that's a big factor. That's a big factor.
It's pretty crazy that when we look at the coaching staff, you kind of hit on it earlier. I think that for the coaching staff to obviously basically have to learn new roles and everything. I know there was some movement on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively it stayed the same, which the defense has been fine all year. Obviously the safety play is questionable at times, but it is what it is. You're not going to be perfect everywhere. No defense is. It's impossible, just like on offense. Pretty I think it was a pretty decent showing of trying to change up the offense to basically put it in a DJ Lagway friendly offensive scheme. I just wish the execution was a little bit better, because if the execution was a little bit better, I mean, we had cats all over the field that were wide open. I mean, when we got the replays, ESPN, you could see, like, when we got a replay every it was 30 minutes, you could see that there were
this
guys
is actually
that were
pretty good,
wide
a
open.
good perspective of it too, from Humble Mumbles. This is a bad take, Shelton. You are not paid in advance, speaking to my analogy, to do your job. These guys are tied into contracts, and they are trying to get a return on investment. So yes and no. I like this take. Some people are salary, so there is like, again, you're still getting paid weekly. I mean, yes, these guys sign contracts. I don't necessarily believe that it is all up front, I would imagine, because I remember when we saw the Rashada situation, it was paid from a monthly basis. So in that regards, that it's not paid up front, it's still paid from a month. It's all agreed on, as is in a way yours is, right? Now, but they can be benched and not get paid for it. But this is part, I think, where I have been kind of backing up too, where it's like you have put a lot of money into this guy. You don't just want to just say, hey, F it, let's move on, because you put a lot of money into this guy. And I think that actually supports keeping him in, because you did put a big, hefty investment in. It's very similar to you put a lot of money into Napier. Like, you got to try to see it through, even through the rough times. Even if you want to win, you just can't. Because, again, I think that's actually phenomenal, and people may not like that. But you invested in him. Maybe the investment was bad. And at some point, yes, you've got to pull out and just take your losses. And I think that's where you're trying to figure out where that is.
I almost wonder, like, this is the frustrating thing with DJ, because he could be a good quarterback. I'm not saying the cat is not, and I'm not saying he's a bust. He's never going to be a good quarterback. I think he can be. At some point as a coach, you have to lay down the law and say, listen, I love you. Not even about the money, but you are here to play quarterback, and at the University of Florida, we play the quarterback position this way, and you will do these things. Okay, better footwork, stop the jumping in the air passing, have some pocket poise, stop always rolling out, because at the next level, you do that, you're not going to make it till week 3. The edges are so fast, they're going to be peeling you off the turf. You will work on your footwork, and we need to see it in games, or we will go to the next guy. As a coach, you have to give him an ultimatum. I love the backyard ball ability and all that. That's great. But you can't live off that in and out of downs. Like that's something you sprinkle in. You can't just live off that. And I think that it worked a little bit last year. So he thinks he can just live off that. You gotta do the little things right. It's and we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it his footwork get any better. We're not seeing him just make the competent easy throws. Everything is like everything has to be a rollout deep shot, big throw across the middle or or some spectacular play. Just do the little stuff right and we win that game. A couple more first downs, we win that. That's what makes Georgia so good. They're like automatic on third and 5. 3rd and 5 and in, they're getting a first down.
No, I agree.
And
I think that there's a huge issue there.
As a coach, you have to say, DJ, listen, I love your backyard ability, but we're not leaning on that 24/7. As a coach, you don't want him to, because that's not realistic to get him to the league. You have to, you can't be a 59% completion guy.
I mean, like what you're saying is, I think he knows this. I don't think like Lagway's not walking around like he knows he's performing well. A couple of comments here. This one, Shelton, you sound like FSU fan, like you don't care. You care just as much as anybody, Cody, if not more. You think I don't care? Have I given off that persona?
No, I think you care. I think you care. It's just, I think that everybody.
I think if you want to think if you think I don't care, go watch the watch party yesterday and see how my emotions are during the game. I feel like I have.
They're tired of this experiment, and we're waiting on a new coach, and everybody just
look, guys. You don't have to agree with me, but I've also learned that I have done a really poor job of coming here and just and putting it into an echo chamber. So I'm simply trying to push back on some of my internal feelings a bit more, because I've also been criticized of driving certain energy and feelings. So. Look, if you can't sit here and like listen to the dialogue and ultimately make your own decision, then that's the goal. Like I don't believe that. And somebody said like, "Hey, Billy G's not gonna come in and bench Napier." I think that's important to note. But in the same breath, I think you could argue that that's the even more reason why you should bench him. Like, hey, you could really do something here because the team's watching the same game, right? And if your team is as sound and as culturally sound as you say and claim they are, if you put Tramel Jones in, they should all just be like, yeah, okay, coach, we're behind you. We're not behind DJ. We're behind the patch and the logo. So I would actually use that statement against you in saying that there's even more reason to bench because, like, look, guys, I feel like our best opportunity to win right now is to go with Tramel Jones. And until then, but here's the thing, right? Auburn, they benched old Arnold, put in the new guy. They put up 3 points the following week. So that's my point. Is that you don't know what you're gonna get. I mean, that's part of it too. But
that's exactly what we're talking about. Like that he lost that job because he didn't develop a quarterback. You're at Auburn. You're telling me you can't find and evaluate a quarterback at the University of Auburn?
Am I being
that's why you're fired.
Am I being contentious with you today?
I don't know. I don't know what that means. I just think you're being normal, regular Shelton. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I guess because we're not on the same page.
Oh, mom and dad are fighting again. I don't know, dude. I'm just tired of losing.
I don't know if he spelled it right because I'm trying to figure out what it means too.
A little smaller words, J.K. Marshall. Okay.
Oh, causing or likely to cause an argument. Oh, being controversial with you today. No, I mean, this started yesterday. I mean, I've seen this has been an argument going across. I mean, I would say we're pretty contentious a lot of the times in a good way.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. My man Anthony's just fired up today. Let's see here. $5. We've seen enough. I've already read that one. I'm not doing a call-in. We read that one. Brock, if no Lane, Ryan Grubb, ? Work with Penix and now Simpson. Day Smart, Laney, we're all assistants. Now they have championships under the belt. Look, I mean, the assistants thing was a conversation we had with Graham Hall and everyone went berserk when we mentioned the possibility of going after a coordinator. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think, but it would cause some ruffles for sure. $2. How many games has DJ won us? I think this was during our argument. I think it's like 9 or 10. What must be done eventually needs to be done immediately. Speaking on DJ, and look, again, that's where I think that how long do you put off the inevitable, right? Austin Simmons to Dallas Wilson for the win next year in Atlanta. Yeah, I saw some people saying like if we lose DJ, we'll lose Dallas Wilson. Like I don't think that is.
I think that's cancerous to think like that.
Thank you.
I'm so tired of hearing
somebody
that. And
appreciates my takes. There's one person here.
I'm so tired of hearing that in college football. Well, if he goes and somebody else, if you fire this coach, then you're going to lose this guy, and this guy. Listen, it's Dallas Wilson Dallas Wilson isn't attached to the hip to DJ Lagway. That kid, you don't think that kid can go to Ohio State or somewhere next year and light it up? Like, we can't live off that. We can't live off the players leaving, because it's in modern day college football, they've made it so easy for them to leave that the only way that you really don't really get them to leave is if you win.
Like, I think to wrap this up,
a lot of teams that are that win usually don't lose a bunch of players.
I think that works. Yeah, I think that's a good point to this too. Is I probably don't do a good enough job of like retaining a lot of the information in my head over the year, and I would argue that I'm probably being a bit blind to the fact that, because again, there's a majority of people in here, and I respect everyone. Like, everyone has the ability to watch the same games as we are and have a genuine, healthy opinion. Like, I wouldn't argue that you and I know more ball than people in here, and I know for a fact that we don't. And there's people in here that we may know a little bit more of, but that doesn't mean their opinion is less valid. And my point of saying that is that if the majority is starting to feel like they've seen enough, because maybe their collection of the games has been viewed differently than what I've been looking at, right? Then there's probably some truth to it of like, look, we've seen enough. And I've said this before. I'm really good at watching other situations, like other teams, other coaches, other players. Like, yeah, it's time to move on, because there isn't that emotional connection. And I could be running into the same situation here. I'm not discrediting that at all. To be fair though, I opened up my statement of like, I'm not against seeing Trammell. Like, I wouldn't be like, if Trammell trotted onto the football field, I would be elated. You know why? Because I would be excited to see an opportunity to see something new. I am just, where I guess I am against is that we have definitely got into a little bit of a rut at times of just screaming for the next thing. And I think there's a little bit of back and forth. And we're probably past that. We're probably past that. Yeah, I am getting soft. So it's all right.
Well, it's one of those things where, okay, so you point that out, that we have said, due to this situation, let's Auburn. Auburn is, and I hate to just keep harping on Auburn. And the only difference between us and, people that may know that know more than us in the chat, or know less than us, or, are always here, is we decide a couple times a week to fire up the camera and talk about it and interact with the chat. That's the only difference between us and anybody else out there. Ball knowing, not ball knowing. That's the only difference, is we make the conscious effort to come on here. What I think we're doing 7 days a week now.
Pretty damn
fire
close
up the
to it.
camera.
Yeah.
Fire up the camera 7 days a week for an hour or two a day. And that's what we got. So that's what we bring Florida, Gator Nation. But you look at the Auburn scenario, and you look at the talent they have on offense, especially the wide receiver room. And for them not to score points is a absolute head scratcher, correct? Last year, they had those same wide receivers, and we're like, oh, they should be scoring points, and they didn't. But, he has all these great wide receivers. If he can just go and get a quarterback in the portal, he'll be fine. And then he goes out and gets Jackson Arnold. And both of us were like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, you went from
You
Peyton
couldn't go-
Thorne to Jackson Arnold. Yeah, not a good move, big
You
guy.
couldn't go get Chambliss or somebody like you. That's
Well,
why
you're probably their
fired.
evaluation wasn't that great. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's why he's fired.
this is an interesting point. And there's a few things too. Like I think about it, like if DJ hits, let's call it 3 throws. Like put it into like it's just now I am being a little contentious. I am trying to argue a little bit. DJ hits 3 throws. We probably win, and the narrative on DJ flips completely.
But you know why?
That's how finicky. Well, that's because he's living on the edge right now. I mean, he hasn't played. That's how poorly he's played. That it's like it is life or death. But Steven says, I remember when everyone was blaming Napier for everything, and I was telling y'all DJ was not ready completely, and I got roasted saying I was defending Napier. Now y'all want DJ gone. Look, I like this is he's trying to rage bait you guys. The comment here, Steve, and I'll yell at you tomorrow about this. If DJ wasn't ready, that's still Napier's fault. I hear what you're trying to say, and I agree with what you're saying. But if he's not ready and Napier is still going with him, knowing he's not ready, that ultimately still falls on Napier.
Well, and I said that DJ can go with Napier. I was just saying it in the fact that this team isn't going to be held hostage by
one player.
By one player, and Stephen Harris knows when you play teams like this, and it's been a gauntlet of a schedule. When you play good teams, the margins of error are so thin anyway. Like the whole SEC is a thin margin of error to win. Like it's 1 touchdown this year, right? Is what the margin of error to win?
Pretty close.
So like, you say 3 throws, that's the game. 3 throws are the game in the margin of error of.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not trying to justify it. It's just like that's how crazy.
Okay, because
he hits 3 throws. This conversation is different. We're like, yo, DJ found his rhythm. Like that's literally 3 throws. We're like, yo, DJ just needed to get rid of Napier. Like that's how easy this could have changed. And that's part of me where like, well, if it is only he didn't hit him. I know he didn't hit him. That's part of the job. You got to hit the throws, and that's honestly like it's a dumb take because that is the life that is football. It's the ones who make them and who don't make them. This thing from T-Dub says ETN left because we didn't win enough. Honestly, no, I think ETN left the same reason why Pyburn left was they felt they were better than the. They thought they were just better than what maybe the coaching staff, and maybe they were right, maybe they're wrong, but I think a little bit of an ego played a factor into that. And I think that neither of them, I mean, ETN went and got an SEC championship, but I don't think he skyrocketed his stock by any stretch of the imagination. Anthony, $2. The only thing that matters now is beating Ole Miss and FSU. Agreed. $5 from Anthony Pons. DJ is a Trusov who hasn't had 1 full offseason and a full season of play. Practice, come on. If the majority want DJ out, they have to study Facebook closer. Look, I think there is that factor of it, and I understand where the people are coming. Like, hey, well, look, we're not discrediting that he hasn't had those times. There is somebody who has though, and that's Tramel Jones. So why don't we go give it to a guy and let DJ rest? But then you would argue it's like, well, why not just continue to let him play? It's like, well, we want to win football games. You can go back and forth all day.
This is the thing. Really, it's not even 3 plays. It's probably 2. It's probably 2 throws. The seam route. I think it was Wilson that was wide open. The seam post.
No, he missed more than 3 throws. I'm saying if he probably hits 3 of them and still misses the other ones, I think the narrative is. I'm not saying he only missed 3 throws. There's still plenty of missed opportunities there. It just like damn, like we really just needed to hit 3 because how close the game was.
The playmakers. I mean, with the elite weapons that we have, you don't know. It could have been, 10 of those missed throws could have all been touchdowns because of the weapons that we have.
Yeah.
Make a guy miss out in space and you're off to the races.
3 throws, question mark. The narrative doesn't change. We just ignore it like A&M ignores their quarterback efficiencies. Well, at least we agree on that, Anthony, about the quarterback thing. Look, I'm not saying that you can just justify ignoring it. I was just saying, like, I was more so, again, you guys sometimes just take it and, like, as I'm running with it. I was just alluding to, like, that's how nitpicky this game could be, that he hits 3 throws. We're not having this conversation. We're just not. And 3 more throws doesn't really, I would say, pad the stats even any better. Doesn't make his QBR any better. Like nothing else changes of what the LSU game, anything that you guys are mad about. But he hits 3 throws, they win the football game. This conversation is not happening. That's all that I'm saying, and that's a fact. And so that's the part of it.
That's why they wake up and do it. That's why we do this.
I don't know why they don't just bench them all.
That's why if they're listen, if winning wasn't so great, then why would we do it? Like I'm pretty sure there's some high school coach in South Alabama that just got his cancer cured because his team just went on a playoff run. From winning. Just like, oh, cancer's gone. Won all them ball games. I have no more cancer. I mean, it literally cures a program. It makes you it's why we watch the games. I don't watch them to lose.
I don't know. I think there's a point where it's like, and I mean, this could be off the thing here, but it's like, I feel like we just, unless we win, we are going to find something to harp on to get rid of. Because nobody was talking about benching DJ last week when they won against Mississippi State. And I don't think he played that well against Mississippi State. Yeah, he was 20 for 34 for 280 yards and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, but Mississippi State isn't the caliber of team of what you just won against.
So even worse. He had a worse completion rating and a worst QBR against Mississippi State, but we weren't calling for his head because we won. But he played worse.
What'd I tell you? Didn't I just tell you winning cures all?
Some were calling for his head maybe, but I know Q Lee probably was. I don't know why they just hired Q Lee, put him on staff. The guy's been right about all of it so far. His best game was Texas. I mean, that was it. He had a 94.2 QBR. He was 21 for 28, threw almost 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he was great.
How many carries did Ball get last game?
Yesterday, I think 15 or something like that.
Why are we not feeding that cat more?
I mean, you want him to spread it out and open it. What like you can't pick and choose, you know? What do you want?
Well, a couple of those DJ called his own number. He probably should have had 20.
He kept a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, DJ called his own number quite a bit, which, again, coaching, you just got to tell him, like, hey, no, you need to hand the ball off there.
Let me see how many carries he had. He had 15 for 72, and KD had 6. I mean, we just didn't have the ball much. He had 24 throws and, DJ had 10 carries. DJ had 10 carries.
Because Georgia's so automatic at third and 5 and third and manageable. Couldn't get off the field. It was like we were either going to get off the field on the first, it was going to be a 3 and out, or we weren't getting off the field. Yeah. Or they were driving. You know what I mean? Did it feel like that to you too? Like once they got that first one, it's like, all right, and then they marched down the field.
No, DJ did not throw an interception yesterday. I think he did a better job, in my opinion, of not throwing into not. I mean, we saw some horrible throws over the last couple of weeks. Where it's like, what are you doing? Like into bad coverages. There were some bad throws yesterday, but they were. What sucks is that yesterday we were missing open throws when usually we're just like, where the hell is that going? You know what I mean? Progress.
There was one that was almost picked, but that was a tip that wasn't on him.
Yeah. Look, this has been fun. I mean, I think
that was the one for the first down that he threw like a 900-mile-an-hour heat seeker, and I was yelling at just put some touch on it.
Yeah. $2 from Martha Beers. Thank you, Martha. $20. Anthony, here's another donation just for reading my rants. Look, look, the reason why we do these shows live is because I do appreciate the feedback. I think it's healthy. You may not agree with me, and you may not agree with Cody, but I mean, at the end of the day, we all know what we want, and look, we don't control the outcome. I think people are getting mad. It's like I don't get to go and make the decision. I just think there's a healthy way of looking at it. And again, I kind of still stand by what I said. Of like, I don't feel like he's played poorly. The LSU game, he should have benched his ass. Like there is no excuse for that. I have seen progress since those games. Are we still seeing errors and mistakes? Yeah, no question. But yeah, do you pay a guy, whatever the money, 10% of the budget to just be mediocre for 12 games? No, you don't.
That's something that the new regime is going to have to figure out. And that's why we're bringing in a new regime.
Yeah,
This
$5,
regime
Anthony. We didn't care about DJ because it was all about Nate getting fired. That's kind of my point. Is like we just get fixated on the next problem of what we want to get rid of. So,
do you feel like? I personally feel like. Do you feel like that the offensive play calling was
great? I loved it. It's
better.
Look, I don't know if it was great. I can't say that. It was great because of what we've been watching. It didn't feel predictable. It showed me some life. Were there still bad plays? Yeah, like there was still just stuff that's like head scratchers. Every game has those. You forget about them when you win. Like go watch Georgia's offense. We weren't watching it as intently because we're watching our defense. But they have some plays where you're like, what the hell, bro? They tore our ass up with bubble screens.
Yeah,
up. If
Branch.
that was us, y'all would have been burning down Jacksonville. They didn't throw the bitch vertical. They just threw it to Zachariah Branch 1,000 times, left side, right side, left side. Gunnar Stockton did not go look at. I can only imagine what his average throw was. Can we get that? But bro, Zachariah Branch had 10 catches for 112. I swear to goodness, I bet there's probably 2 that went over 20 yards. The rest of them bad boys were just little screens and slants.
Yeah.
He dinked and dunked the nuts out of us. But play calling was good. I was very happy with the play calling.
He did have the one INT with the one deep ball, and they started to open it up, and they went. We said it. Even
it felt like good. It felt like good football, and honestly, it felt like for the first time, it's like, man, you could see more flaws with the team. Like again, when we talk about like leaks, you saw the other leaks kind of come through, where it was like, hey, we always knew about the safety, and again, kind of to Anthony's point, like we've been so focused on getting Billy out of here, we haven't really focused on other stuff. But like the safety issues kind of came up. The O-lines was okay. It wasn't great. It was all right. I think Ball played okay. He looks a little slow than what he has in the past. He's not finding the holes like he was. And I don't know if it's the line or if it's him, but just busting out and finding an opportunity. He hasn't been the same himself. And maybe it's because he's being used more. I don't know. The wide receivers, man. We were down to the nitty gritty, and so. To me, that was eye-opening to me with how many balls. Let me see, because I think Eugene caught everything. He had 9 catches. The next guy was Studervant for 2, and then Ball for 3. That was it. And Dallas was on 1 catch. So we literally had one guy. Like that, I was like, it felt
the whole game though.
Huh?
I don't think Dallas played the whole game, did he?
He played till like the second or third. But either way, like Hawkins had one ball that obviously he missed, or it was Abrams, not his fault. But no tight ends were involved this time. Which I'm not like complaining. I'm just saying, basically one guy was your offense because Ball's 3 catches don't really count in my opinion as wide receivers either. So now does that route running from the wide receivers? Is that DJ not reading? I think it's more on DJ. And this is to this comment, him pre-reading everything. I think that is a major issue. Not being that to me is probably the biggest concern of like, there is zero progression happening. And the fact that you've got one guy catching 9 balls, You're not telling me that Tank Hawkins and TJ Abrams weren't open. I'm just not buying that smoke. And Sturdivant, who was going to be a top draft pick, I'm not seeing it. Well, good conversations, man.
I have to agree.
I always love it, Cody. I love when Cody brings the heat. And best timeout management in 4 years. It was phenomenal. Yeah, dude. It's just there were so many refreshing things.
We didn't have any issues on special teams either.
No issues on special teams. No, there was like one false start.
Yeah, it was
we
a big
had
one.
5 penalties for 50 yards, less than them. That's not that bad. I think we had a holding penalty, maybe. Nothing crazy though. Like, and it wasn't like at inconvenient times like it always is. How that's a Napier thing is beyond me. But yeah, the game just felt way more managed. It felt like Gonzalez had a very good pulse of what was happening and managed it very well and gave us the best opportunity to win. Like genuinely, like that was where I think it hurt the most. But yeah. Well, Cody, I love you, man. Good shit. Probably do a show tonight. We've been having a great time with the Sunday shows. We'll see though. But y'all be good. Smash the like button. Got a lot of subs yesterday. Thank you so much, guys. Let's continue to rock and roll. And we did talk about Freeze. We'll talk about Freeze again later tonight and tomorrow. But y'all be good, man. Peace and love, baby.
It's hot.